I thought we had a very good first half. We controlled the game. We recovered the ball in good areas, and just wasn't happy with not being able to take the chances. In the second half, again, we created some chances, some big saves. I thought Valour's goalkeeper was excellent, but also, when a goalkeeper starts making saves, somebody decides to pass the ball rather than finish it. And we started to lose a bit of control. Valour started to come into the game really well in the second half. We made some substitutions, and usually those things can go wrong, but they helped us. They did very, very well. And we had a couple chances at the end in terms of free kicks and stuff. But at the end of the day, we didn't get the result we felt we should have had.
Was the wind a big factor in terms of the play? It seemed to be with the wind quite a bit in both halves.
Yeah, I think it was. It's a bit of a factor, but both teams have to play with it, so you deal with it. Eh?
Question here from MEDIAPRO. Let's go ahead, Benedict.
Thank you, Stephen. You mentioned the chances that you maybe didn't capitalize on. It seemed like a lot of your shots coming from outside the box and from sort of low quality, I guess, chances. What do you need to do maybe to turn those into higher quality chances and get chances inside the box? Yeah, but I thought we got into the box. In just the second half alone, Alex Marshall got into some really good positions, decide not to take the shot for whatever reason. Colin Gander got into a good position. So we did get into the box. The thing is we didn't take the shots. And, you miss 100% of the chances you don't take. And Aiden Daniels played 45 minutes. What did you see from him today? And was it always the plan to only play 45 minutes? I was happy for him. He has not played for a long while. He started to feel it. He said, maybe I can give a little more, but I'm starting to feel it. So we thought it was best we take no chances. It's been he's been out for quite a while. And one more from me. Andre Rampersad was his 75th game for Halifax today. What did you see from him, and how important has he been to your team over the past few years? Yeah, I mean, he's extremely steady player, both defensively and offensively. He took a bit of a knock today, and he soldiered on through it. I was happy for that. Again, a very, very, very steady game from him.
I thought we stick to the game plan, especially in the first half. We really pressed the defenders as we were told, and stick right through. We just didn't finish well myself, didn't finish the chances. And your captain, Andre Rampersad, it's his 75th game today for Halifax. How important was he tonight and also for your team over the last few years? Yeah, Andre is a guy that no matter which day, no matter how he's feeling, he's always going to give his 100%. I really didn't know that today was his 75th game. So it's a great milestone, Wish I could have helped him with a victory. And one more, your team had a lot of shots in this game, but a lot of them were from, outside the box or maybe didn't find the target. How can you guys maybe improve that and make sure a lot of these chances maybe get converted into goals? Yeah, we just have to keep on shooting, keep on working, eventually goals will come. I think, if you don't shoot, you can't score. So I think that's a plus for us. Thank you.
Did you find a big difference from the first half to the second half with the wind direction? Was it a bit of an uphill struggle in the second half?
Yeah. I think it was harder with the wind, but as I said, we stuck to the game plan. We pressed, and eventually we got a few balls and got chances we should have converted.
Maybe just your thoughts on Jonathan Sirois, Valour's goalkeeper.
Yeah, from last season, I realized that he's a really good goalkeeper. Kudos to him. Big shot blocker. He's really good. I kind of like him as a goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think that it's a game that I know I'm gonna look back and I will say the best thing we take out of it will be the draw, the point, and the fact that we were able to get out of a game where I don't think we were well and energetic enough. I think that they got in the game, it looked like fresher than us, and we're able to still come out of it with a clean sheet. So it's important. I was talking to my staff, and you know, when you look back at the team last year, we struggled to get draws in moments where things weren't going well for us. It's the type of game you would end up losing. So I have to look at the big picture. And again, I'm going to say this, it's not a marathon. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I mean, I felt that we were very individual in the final third. I don't know if it's the emotions of coming back home and guys wanting to show, and you know, at moments where you were able to get in good spots, trying to do too much alone. I think we got out a bit of what our identity needs to be. And when it's like that, you have to take the point and recognize that in many pockets of the game, Halifax was a better team today. And this is good for us because, you know, we come out of a 6-1 victory, and you have to realize that if you're not where you need to be every week, these things this is gonna be hard. So it's good for us to come a little bit down to earth and say, okay, what's next? And what's next is it's a heck of a challenge. So there's positives that we take for sure. But today, if there was a team that deserved a little bit more, it was Halifax.
What a comment on your goalkeeper in his performance.
Himself, right? Joe has things that we work on with him, and he's a shot stopper. He's someone that manages the game well, and he's here to help the team. Again, you know me with individuals, and I think that, you know, the guys that played in front of him today off the ball and having to defend a lot in emergency situations helped him also. Joe is Joe. Joe's going to be there to help the team, and that's what he did today.
He's obviously made some pretty big saves, but he was also very active. He was outside the box a bit, you know, even had a little bit of an issue at the end. Is that sort of what you get with him?
Well,
You're always going to get that.
When you try to play with a higher line like we do, even though today was hard, but we still tried to, and you know, we got a bit exposed with movement in behind, but when you try and play with a high line, you need a goalkeeper that's going to be able to manage depth well, and I feel that right now both him and Ryan have the ability to do that.
Phillip, about Halifax having maybe more energy.
Yeah.
Do you think that is that attributed to the home opener and maybe nerves?
No, look, something that me and the staff and the performance team will look at. I had concerns because, you know, you have a bye week. A lot of players are held back for different reasons, and some guys were here training maybe a couple times. Maybe Daryl Fordyce was his first session yesterday. So, you know, but again, I don't want to look at that. For me, you have to show up, and we'll evaluate after the game. I told the group that I need to trust the guys when they tell me they're ready to go. And it was the case for every choice that we made today. So I don't know. We'll see what it was. We'll evaluate, you know, the weekly load. We'll evaluate everything, and we'll make sure that that we understand the reason behind it. Sometimes it happens that the opposition is fresher. You know, playing a game last weekend, we didn't. So that sometimes it could accumulate fatigue. But this early in the season, I think that it's actually the opposite. You need to keep going, and not playing for 2 weeks could be an element. But I don't want to say that is, because guys, by now you know me. I think these things are so dynamic, so there's so many variables that to go and try to find reasons. Sometimes the reason is that our decision on the ball, or the way we read a situation, the way we approach a play was just not good enough, and they were able to do it better, and that's what it is.
Diego and Rigi came off the bench today.
Yeah.
Are they still not 100%?
Rigi was, since the Ottawa game, trained on and off, discomfort on an ankle. He wasn't supposed even to get in today. And Diego is the fact that he comes back from a aggravated hamstring injury, and then he's healthy, he's good to go, but I just want to be cautious and go progressive with him. So that's the only reason why I didn't start.
A question here from Michael, go ahead.
Michael.
Hey Phil, how you doing?
Now you're allowed asking me about the Vancouver game because it's my next game.
Yeah, that's why I thought I'd jump on this. This game then on Wednesday against Vancouver, is it coming at a good time for you? Because you're in a little bit of form, Vancouver's clearly not, but you have had that kind of bye week and you're talked about maybe a little bit sluggish today.
There's no Vancouver is in no form. There's no Vancouver's in no form. We know it's a good team, a good group of players. They're playing home. We all know what's at stake, Michael. We all understand, and they understand too. So it's a one game, it's a knockout game. So I think this game could have been good for us because, and it was good for us because it gets our legs going. I don't think that at this early in the season, you know, from a Saturday to a Wednesday is an issue. I think we'll be fresh. Is there a good moment? These games are good. They're good for the players. So when they come, they come. So I know that we know, and that players know, and everyone in the organization understand that, you know, at the end of the day, it's still a little bit of a David versus Goliath. And for us to get something out of that game, we'll need to be very, very good. And that's the responsibility that we need to approach the game with.
Just one more thing on the game. The shoes on the other foot this time, because you've been on the coaching staff where a CPL team is coming to you. Now you're going to the MLS team. Without giving all your secrets away, how do you approach this? What message do you give the players? Is it just be out there, be free, just enjoy yourselves? It's not a game that's our championship. I don't believe that you could turn on a switch or off. I think there's strategical approaches that we could bring into the game and fine-tune little things to try and counter certain weapons. But from there to say that I'm going to go and approach the game with a different mentality or asking players to do things that they're not asked to do since I took over this team, it's not going to happen. So we'll approach this game in a way where we go to, it's a one game, right? So there's only one thing. You have to be smart in how you're going to go and try to get a result. But ultimately, that's what you want to do. It's try to get a result. So for us to do that, we'll have to stay in our identity and have a good game. And every time we're able to get on the ball, be good on the ball. And every time we don't have it, try to control the space and be good defensively as well. So it's games that we, you know, these teams normally when you make mistakes, they make you pay. So we know that, we're aware of that. My message is simple, is it's going to be reinforcing what we've been all about. And that's what I want. Thanks, Phil. I'll see you Wednesday.
You will. Live, Michael?
Should be.
Yeah. Okay.
What does Wednesday's game mean to you, getting coached this year?
Emotionally, it's of course I think it's my first cup game as a head coach. It's a knockout game, so it's exciting. It happened that now it's against a team where I spent 3 years or 2 years and maybe 3/4. So it's going to be exciting, but at the same time, I'm not a guy that gets
on a high and that wants the excitement to get on the way. At the end of the day, it's another soccer game, and I need to be there and go there. And I know that at the beginning or throughout the process, there's going to be handshakes and there's going to be re-encounters, but I know how this works. Once the 90 minutes or the whistle is blown, it's just going to be a game that I have to coach, and that's how I'm going to see it.
You guys capable of taking down an MLS?
If I would say no, then we might as well not travel. We stay home and we call the league and say, give them the match. So of course we believe it's capable. We're aware of the challenge, but we believe it's capable. And the proof is that there's been upsets. There's been upsets in the past with Vancouver, with other teams. There's been upsets this year with USL teams knocking out some of the MLS teams. So we have to go with the confidence that it's possible to get something, and the belief that it's a good game to play. It's a good venue. It's against a good opposition. And these are games that could propel teams to very good things if you're able to get something out of it. So we need to look at it as an opportunity and believe that the outcome could be good for us.
Do you think it's a bigger deal for you to win or for them to lose? If you were to beat an MLS team, do you think the pressure there is...
You're asking me where's the pressure?
Yeah.
100% with them. Look, the pressure is going to be the one that I'll put on myself and the players will put on themselves, but nobody's going to come and say, first of all, it's not losing a game of football is not life or death, right? We have to, there's things happening in the world right now that, you know, when we look at the big picture, we love what we do. It's great. It engages people, fans and everything. But at the end of the day, there's things when we look at global world and what's happening. And so for me, the pressure is the one we'll put on ourselves. Now, do I think there's a little bit more pressure on their end? Of course. And I'm sure they know that too. I'm sure they know that.
Other question here from Benedict Rose. Go ahead,
Benedict.
Hey Phil, how are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm fine, thank you. Bring you back to this game today. There was sort of a tale of two halves, maybe, where Halifax had a lot of the shots in the first half, and then after halftime it switched, and Valour had a lot of the shots. What did you maybe change or say at halftime to bring about that change?
I'm gonna start with this. First thing that I looked at, because I had that feeling, game ended 17-15 in shots. I don't like that. I think that was part of the problem for us. We defended too far from each other, and it became kind of a transition game with, you know, every team playing in very open play. So I didn't like that, and I thought with the changes that we made, you know, Matthew is a player that's been that didn't train all week with us. He arrived, I felt that there was fatigue there. He was fighting a little bit, especially centrally against Rampersad. There was a big difference and maybe muscle and size there. So I thought that by bringing in a guy like Matteo, you would be able to stretch them a little bit more, get a little bit more of depth, and lowering Dyer a little bit more would give us a bit of muscle, help out the two midfielders a bit more. And then I felt that the one where we did Guti for Andy, it's just again, Andy came out of an injury. He trained a week before getting in the lineup, and I felt that he wasn't giving us what we needed anymore. I think he was playing away from the play or against the play, trying to step in front of him, losing battles and duels. And we felt that it would be good to get Brett from deeper positions and a bit more ball with Guti. So that's how we tried to affect the game. I didn't want to do it right at halftime, but those were changes that maybe we would have considered at halftime. But sometimes as a coach, you hold a bit and you say, okay, let's see if the halftime instructions would allow us to grow in the game. We got a bit better. I agree with you. It was a better second half than the first half, but we're all very demanding. That locker room isn't satisfied today. I'm not, but I'm a guy that, you know, I'm relaxed after a game. I can't change anything. So until I see everything, again, when you win, not everything is good, and when you lose, not everything is bad. So today, same thing. Not everything was good, but not everything was bad. I want to go back, look at it, and take it from there.
Thanks, Phil, and good luck on the next game.
Thanks, Benedict.
Quick, you mentioned the shot count was
Yeah.
not to your liking, but it was like 12-3 for them in the first half and 12-5 for you in the second half.
Too much.
But like the first half and second half, what a swing that is. What was the main factor? You think?
It's hard to pinpoint something. I think that, you know, we look at the shot count. Sometimes shots come from, I don't know, 30 yards out, and it counts as a shot, you know. So I try to look at the amount of saves our keeper had to make versus theirs, and that's what determines a lot of the quality of the shots and chances. So I don't think there was any massive change. There was a lot that Jonathan had to deal with coming out of the box, crosses, but nothing where you say, okay, a big save, and that went for both goalkeepers. I just think it was a erratic game, like back and forward. So yeah, I'm sure that Stephen Hart is not happy about the shot count either. So it's just the way it goes.
Different from the other games, that's for sure. I think the first 3 games, maybe except Pacific, but that's a special occasion where we're 1 man down. But today I was tested a lot, I feel like, and feels kind of good to, you know, get a good performance in.
Take us through some of those passes that Halifax would have where you would run way out of the box. So luckily they all worked out, but I mean, are you always just aggressive like that, or is it were some of those a little too risky, do you think, or just kind of take us through some of those?
Yeah, well, the last one I kind of misjudged it, and I was a bit lucky on that one for sure. But no, I think it's part of the role of the goalkeeper nowadays. You know, teams, especially teams like Halifax, they have tendencies to be very vertical. You know, put a lot of threat in behind, and I think the goalkeeper has to, you know, help the backline out in that sense. And I think that today, I did good on that. You know, I came out a few times, relieved the guys, and but it's part of my job, so I have to do that.
In the first 45 minutes, they had a lot more chances you guys didn't have at the time, but you kind of take pride in the fact that, like, you know, I can kind of hold down the fort for, you know, a rough half here and just keep us in the game, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, you know, I try to help my team as much as possible, and if we can weather the storm like we did in the first half, and, you know, keep that 0 and go into the second half with that same score, I tell myself that we're always in a good position to, you know, go ahead in the second half and then put one in and probably win the game. You know, that's how I think about it. The longer I keep the 0 for the other team, the better it is for us.
You had quite a few saves, but the one that I remember was one in the second half. I think was pretty heavy shot, and I think you maybe got a hand on it. Do you remember that play? Can you just take us through how that went?
Oh, it went pretty quick. All I remember was I think you're talking to one with Pierre Lamotte. I just saw the ball come across. You know, I had to quickly just position, and from the way the ball was coming and his run, kind of told myself that if he puts it to my right, it'd be like a tough shot for him. He was probably just more gonna blast it, put it hard with the laces, and that's what he did. And I think I was just well positioned, and I just put a strong hand. I think I put my upper hand just to block it, because I knew it was going to come strong, and I couldn't. I had to lock my wrists to make sure it wasn't gonna, you know, touch my hand and go in the net. So yeah, that's just what I did.
Phillip said that you'll take the draw, but there's some disappointing guys in your room. Is that how you say it too?
Yeah, I think everybody's still a bit disappointed. You know. Defensively, we can kind of say that we got the job done because we didn't concede any goals. But if we look at overall at the game, I think we can be kind of disappointed with our performances. It wasn't to our level. It's not what we want to do, you know, as a collective. You know, usually we're a team where we want to control a bit more of the ball, control more of the tempo of the game. I think today it was a lot of transitions, you know, up and down. And, you know, if we don't stay with our identity and how we like to play, it doesn't give us the best chances to win. And I think, you know, we're kind of lucky, if I can say it like that, to get out of there with just a point. But it's still a well-fought 1 point that we'll take, and you know, we just gotta focus on the next game.
Do you think the week off helped or hurt?
Oh, that's a trick question. You know, within the team, we talk about not, you know, creating any excuses. So I think everybody kind of saw it a bit as an advantage in the sense that we had a lot of bodies down, a lot of guys injured. Even for me, you know, I won't go into the specifics, but I had a few places that you know were starting to hurt. So the few days helped us rest in that sense. And then yeah, maybe we weren't as sharp because of that, but it's not an excuse. You know, we're home. We had the energy from the fans, you know, everything. So we could have done a better performance than we did today. That's for sure.
Speaking of the fans, last year they were boisterous and they helped you out, and the bubble was a whole thing where you didn't have any fans. How does it feel to have a home opener where you actually have people in the building?
It's well, it's my first one, so it's pretty special. But honestly, it feels good. It felt great today. Honestly, just coming out, you know, just before the national anthem and seeing everybody, you know, having the crowd back is just amazing. You know, we played our first 3 games away, and we saw, especially at Pacific and Ottawa, how, you know, the crowd can get involved. So, you know, coming back home, having the fans with us, it helped a lot. And it feels good to be back home. And I just wanted to do a good performance for them too. You know, they came out, they deserve to see a good show.